Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Midwestern Whisper. This is Whisper 56. I just completed a whisper not too long ago, testing my 15-minute limitation, excuse me, by doing a video that was over 16 minutes, and it uploaded and then they removed it. So obviously my limitation is still up. Really wish that could be lifted, but for some reason I'm still bound by it, so I guess for now I gotta keep it short. Soggy wet outside today. Again, this is about the 5th day we've got some form of rain. It's been raining or thunderstorming since Tuesday, and it is now Saturday. We were fortunate enough to avoid any severe weather and tornadoes. But as you probably saw from the last whisper and maybe the other video, even that small creek, which was no more than 10 feet across, raging water there. There's times that I've seen that creek barely trickle, so definitely have got a lot of rain. Okay, I think I'm going to do a sort of unofficial survey, and hopefully I can remember what I did on the last one. It was off the top of my head, so I'm just going to do a few favorite things of mine. I kind of looked online a little bit, but most of the surveys I found were too set into categories, so I'll just do it on my own. My favorite food. Okay, when I'm not on a diet, my favorite food is a pizza that has jalapenos, artichoke hearts, and sausage. Now, sometimes I'll put sauerkraut on it as well. Sauerkraut's not always necessary since the artichoke hearts are pickled and oiled from the jar, and the jalapenos are pickled as well, because I don't really care for fresh jalapenos, but I like the spice. Sometimes black olives or green olives can be added, but generally if you have just those 3 ingredients, it's enough of a kick and sour that it works together. There is one restaurant here that will put that together for you, and I've made it at home a few times, and it may sound gross to some people, but don't knock it till you try it. My favorite color, shades of purple are my favorite colors, and I don't know the official name, but when blue is turning into purple, it's just got a hint of blue, but it's mainly purple. Maybe it's indigo. I'm not sure if that's right. Oh, yeah, that's in the rainbow, but yeah, shades of purple are my favorite. Favorite drink. Probably sound a little boring, but I'd have to say water, especially by the amounts that I drink. 75% of what I drink is water, and I bought several cases of bottled water, and just for emergencies. Not the end of the world, but you never know when you're going to need bottled water, and it's fairly inexpensive at Walmart. Well, other places too, but that's mainly where I shop, and it keeps for a long time. It's generally about 15-16 months, or at least the water I got, so it keeps a long time. We've been drinking a little bit of it now that the weather has started to warm up, and it's convenient for it to be bottled. Just to grab something out of the fridge or soda. But mainly the only things that I drink are coffee, milk, water, and an occasional glass of juice. I don't hardly drink any pop, or tea, or lemonade, or anything like that. So yeah, my boring answer is water is my favorite drink. My favorite song or group, I'd have to say right now I'm really into the 1980s group The Cars, and my friend Mike turned me on to them late last year. I mean, I knew from, I remember videos on MTV when I was a kid, but to really start listening to them again, I got the CD, their greatest hits, and the two songs I like the best are You Are the Girl and Dangerous Type. So if you haven't heard it or haven't heard it in a long time, give them a listen again. They're pretty good songs, actually. My favorite car, speaking of the cars, my favorite car that I've owned, I'd have to say, is a Honda. It wasn't a new car, but it was very reliable and did really well on gas. And I sold it a few summers ago because we had got another car, and at the time I didn't think we needed two cars, but it had really high miles, but it was a good car. The guy that bought it got a really good deal. He bought it for a work car, and this is when gas really first started to raise. Well, I don't know what it was then. It was probably around maybe 220. Seems like pretty cheap compared to now, but yeah, he didn't pay much for it. My favorite car that I have not owned would probably be a Talon. They just look like really nice cars. Probably sort of a poor man's sports car. Maybe along the lines of a Mustang, I don't know. I don't know what they really cost, but the handful of Talons I've seen are very nice looking cars. And let's see, my favorite day of the week, yeah, reaching here a little bit now, aren't I, would probably be Saturday, like most people. Obviously not because I work, don't have to work, but I enjoy it partly because it's my time to myself day. My wife and son generally go down to see her mother on that day, and I usually don't go, just to have time to myself. And I also enjoy it because it's the main day that I get to do something with my friends, if we do anything. We're not doing anything this week, but yeah, it's just I guess it's a me day, for lack of a better word. And everybody needs time for themselves, so that's why I like Saturdays. Trying to think of one more. I had no problem going to 16 minutes last time. Now I'm trying to struggle to remember what I had said before. Favorite book. I don't read novels too often anymore. I used to read them a lot, especially Dean Koontz. When I was real young, I used to read Stephen King and a few others like Michael Crichton, but Koontz mainly. And more recently, I short stories. Stephen King has several books of short stories. And I also like science fiction annuals, where they do the best of the science fiction short stories. And they put it together in a book each year. I have several of them that I read. And generally these stories are anywhere from 5 pages to about 30. And that's about the way I write as well. Between 5 and 30 pages usually. Most of my stories are about 25. But, and that's kind of the way I write too. Kind of on the line between thrillers and, I hesitate to say fantasy because that to me makes me think of Dungeons and Dragons type things, and I don't get into that really too much. But, you know, Kuntz isn't really scary most of the time. He's something else. A thriller is all I can think of, but not always realistic thrillers. But Michael Crichton was more on the lines of science fiction. So it's kind of a cross. But yeah, let's see if I can come up with one more favorite thing. Oh. Favorite place to go on vacation. Hopefully I didn't already say this. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I did. But Florida obviously is my favorite place to go. I say obvious because I've been there like 8 times since 2000. The first time I went was just vacation with my ex-wife. Well, she was my wife then. And then we went back a year later to live in a last-ditch effort to save my marriage. Which, of course, our problems followed us. It wasn't the place. We sort of already knew that, but we gave it a whirl anyway. We stayed with her aunt for a couple of months. Only jobs we could find were low-end retail jobs, which was enough money to get us our own place, which it probably wouldn't have worked out in the end anyway. So we came back to Iowa, and a few months later we were done for good. Although she sort of played mind games with me for a while after that, even when I was dating other people. So, but if I got into that, I could whisper forever, and obviously I am limited. So we'll get off of the ex-wife kick. But my favorite place in Florida was Fort Myers because, well, namely because it was the furthest south I've ever been. Fort Myers is pretty far down there. My vacation last year was at St. Augustine, which is just south of Jacksonville, and Fort Myers is probably 200 miles further south of that. So it's pretty nice there, pretty much year round, and very expensive for not being a big city. Fort Myers, I mean, 10 years ago you can find a hotel room for less than $150. It's probably $200 or more now, but and I don't mean a fancy room or suite or anything. I mean a basic room with 2 beds was $150 in 2002. So, yeah, it was nothing fancy at all, but it was on the peninsula. So, okay, well, I don't want to run over again and have to do this a 3rd time, so I got to end it. And if anybody knows why my limit hasn't been lifted, please let me know. But okay, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you in about 3 days. Goodbye.